Thanks very much, Mr. Chairman. Before we go further, I find it a little bit unfair that Mr. Mulvaney and many people in the Trump administration disparage the director of the CBO when it was Tom Price, the former Republican chairman of the Budget Committee, who appointed Dr. Hall in the first place. So let's get that clear. Mr. Mulvaney, as you know, the United States today has more income and wealth inequality than any major country on earth. Top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. 52% of all new income today is going to the top 1%. But your budget thinks that it is good public policy to provide $52 billion in tax breaks to the wealthiest family in this country, a family already worth $128 billion. You think that a family like the Walton family, where one guy there owns 4 Ferraris and 1 Maserati that are worth more than $65 million, are just in desperate need of massive, massive tax breaks. You think that Sheldon Adelson, who among other things contributed $5 million for the Trump inaugural, is in need of a massive tax break, as well as the Koch brothers. So my question is pretty simple, and I want you to tell the American people why you think it is a good idea to give $3 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1% at a time when the rich are becoming much richer, while at the same time you're going to throw 17 million children in this country off of health insurance because of the unconscionable cuts that you are making to Medicaid, why you're going to throw seniors in the state of Wyoming or the state of Vermont off the Meals on Wheels program, maybe the one nutritious program that they get a day, why you're going to throw women and low-income babies off of the WIC program at a time when infant mortality rates in this country was already high. Do you really think it is a great idea to tell a low-income pregnant woman that you're going to take away the WIC program, take away nutrition programs from children in order to give a massive tax break of $52 billion to the Walton family? Please explain your logic to the American people.
I'll see if I can handle each of those in reverse. Actually, let me deal with the CBO first. I can't disparage who I don't know, and I don't think I've ever disparaged the director of the CBO.
You made a dismissive remark about him.
I made it.
Even the CBO. You guys appointed the director.
And again, all I'm telling you is that the results are awful.
But you appointed him, so let's go with that.
I measure performance by results, Mr. Sanders, and if you continuously
your opinion is
numbers,
that the results are terrible. I'm suggesting that it was a member of the Trump administration who appointed this gentleman, not some kind of radical Democrat.
So we can agree then that the CBO puts out bad data.
No,
okay.
We can't. We can agree that you guys are beating up on a man that you appointed because you don't like his results. But anyhow, get back to the question. Why tax breaks for billionaires and
they're
cuts
not right.
for working class kids?
WIC serves all the projected participants. There's no change there. Meals on Wheels is not reduced at all. The change that we make is through the
CBDG program, which you eliminate.
The block grant thing.
So you eliminate the block grant, and you tell me that funds the program. You tell me that doesn't have an impact on the program.
No, the program is funded, Senator, through the old age or senior nutrition program, I think through HHS, which we don't change.
No, that's not true.
No, it is true, actually. The CDBG program is a block grant to the states, and some states do choose to use some of that
you
money
eliminate
on
that
Wheels
program.
on Wheels, and that total.
All right, the bottom line is,
Senator, I mean, if you
go ahead, answer the question.
The total money for Meals on Wheels that comes from CDBG is 3%. That's it. Yeah, and I don't know how you can possibly contend that we're.
But you are eliminating the program that funds not only Meals on Wheels, but many other programs at the discretion of governors and banks.
I would be more than happy to have a long discussion about CDBGs. You asked about Medicaid as well. The slashing of Medicaid, the dramatic cuts to Medicaid, is a slower growth rate of Medicaid. There's 1 year exception during the Affordable Care Act where, the American Health Care Act, where the bill calls for the end to expansion, and there's a small reduction that year. But generally speaking, over the 10-year budget, Medicaid spending goes up
Yeah, but so does healthcare inflation. We go through these games every single year. Inflation is going up a lot faster than the money that you're putting in. Bottom line is, tell me, let me get back to one question.
Sure.
Why do you think the Walton family needs a $52 billion tax break?
My guess is that you're basing that assertion on the only tax detail that we have in the budget.
The repeal of the estate tax. Exactly.
Right. And if we want to have a talk about why we're repealing that, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Good. Let's tell me.
Because ordinary people are paying more.
No, ordinary people do not have a wealth of $128 billion. That's not an ordinary person.
The average increase across this nation since
You're not answering the question. The question is, answer the question. The wealthiest family in America gets a $52 billion tax break as a result of the repeal of the estate tax.
That's correct.
Tell the American people why you think that's good when you cut Medicaid and you cut programs for kids.
Again, we don't cut Medicaid. We're talking about repealing Obamacare. The results
Throwing
that you mentioned,
23 million people off of health insurance. That's right?
which is a CBO number that I think you just agreed could be wrong at the outset.
I didn't agree to that at all.
Okay. That we repeal Obamacare.
Why does a billionaire family get a $52 billion tax break? Please tell the American people.
Because we think it's wrong that real ordinary folks lose coverage. And we want to get rid of
ordinary people. Is the Walton family an ordinary family?
No, they're not. They're extraordinary. But ordinary people are losing coverage today under Obamacare.
I asked you why the wealthiest family in America is getting a $52 billion tax break.
And I'm answering the question by saying because we repeal Obamacare.
No, you end the estate tax, which applies to the top 0.2%.
Senator, okay, I'm sorry. I thought the assumption was we were looking at the tax reductions that are contained in Obamacare. Repeal.
No, that's not what we're talking about. No.
Okay.
We're talking about the repeal of the estate tax, which you just mentioned.
The budget assumes a deficit-neutral tax plan because when we wrote the budget, we did not have nearly enough specifics to assume what you're assuming, which is the specific reductions. Yes, the proposals that the White House published about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the principles that we set forward, does include a reduction of the estate tax.
Repeal of the estate tax, sir.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a repeal of the estate tax, but I think it's mathematically impossible to take those general principles and assume a direct impact on a particular family.
No, that's not.
Nobody can do it. I've seen estimates from groups that say, "Oh, it's going to add
the
the deficit by $2 trillion to $10 trillion." People just
that's really not true. I mean, we don't know when people are going to be dying. That's for sure. But you can make those estimates.
We don't know that people are going to be dying.
No, you don't know when somebody is going to be dying. But the truth is that if the family is worth $100,
I'm pretty sure they're going to die eventually.
That we can be pretty sure of.
Well, at least we agree on something. Thank you.
Senator Graham.
That was borderline fascinating. So